Okay, we are live. What's up, everybody? Hi, Reed. How are you?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Hello, Facebook world, YouTube world. Hello, everybody, wherever you might be tuning in from. Just give me 1 second here. I'm going to share this episode of the Broker Showdown on my own personal page, and I think, Reed, you're going to do the same. Here it is.
Correct.
Oh, it's not giving me the share option for some reason. Hang on 1 second. If you're tuning in live with us, it doesn't give me share. What was up with that? I don't know if it's a permissions thing, Tari. I only see like and comment. Anyways, we're going to get this figured out. Or if we can't.
I love technology.
Yeah, if we can't, the show must go on anyways.
Yes.
But hang with us, guys. If you're logging in live, if you are catching the replay, you might want to go ahead and fast forward 30 seconds or so on the replay. But it doesn't look like it's giving me the share option for some reason. So I'm just going to roll, and I'll check back here in just a second to see if it does. That said, and Reed, did you see by chance?
Maybe I did, and I didn't see it on either one. So
you didn't either. Okay. All right. Something's going on. But at any rate, okay, let's dive in anyways. So with the Broker Showdown, what is it? Oh, hang on. I got a chat message. I don't know how to do that right now. That's a link. What am I supposed to do with that link?
Like I would hit a link and it goes off to cyberspace somewhere.
I know.
It's crazy. So
do I click on that right now? I don't know. I can't. I'm just going to focus here. So anyways, guys, welcome. We've taken a week or two off from doing a Broker Showdown, but I'm glad that we are joined today with my very special guest, my friend. In fact, he's also a locker room coach, Reed Wilson of the Wilson Group. I'll let him introduce himself here in just a brief moment. But if this is your first time hanging out with us or first time tuning into a Broker Showdown, I can't even keep track anymore. This is round like 16, 17, and we're going to keep featuring broker owners, leaders in our industry like Reed, who are making things happen, who have an abundant mindset. They're willing to share. And so the Broker Showdown is kind of what it sounds like. It's fun. It's edgy. We go into this where I have 3 questions prepared for Reed. Reed has 3 questions prepared for me. And yet neither of us know what the other person's going to ask. So it's kind of fun on the edge of our seats. Anything goes. And that's really the only rules of the game here. So Reed, I'm going to toss to you real quick. Tell us who you are, where you're from, anything you'd like to share about your background, and then I'll do the same and we'll dive in.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Reed Wilson. I am the broker, owner, and coach of the Wilson Group. We are located in Richmond, Virginia. We've been open for going on 13 years. Prior to real estate, I had a 12-year retail management career. My best friend is my golden retriever. If you follow me on social, you'll see Mr. Wesley. My partner and I have been together going on 23 years. In my off time, I love to be on a beach somewhere and love to have a good time. I've never met a stranger in my life. So that's a very quick synopsis about Reed Wilson.
No, I love it. I can vouch for almost all of that. And just an incredible leader. I'm so excited that you're our guest today. And maybe I'll even learn a little something, but I know enough to be dangerous, but I'm so excited for our audience to learn and get to know you as well. Such a great leader, smart as can be, and just a champion and cheerleader of other people. So make sure you do connect with Reed. We'll give you some of his contact info towards the end, but seek him out on social media, send him a friend request, get in his orbit. I promise you won't regret it. Very inspiring. So thank you, Reed. For myself, hopefully we're connected by now, but if not, my name is Jake. Yes, indeed. Founder and CEO of the Locker Room Real Estate Coaching and Training Company, co-founder of the Locker Room Leadership and Coaching Academy with my business partner, Kit Fusil, and just all things coaching, consulting, leadership, just very passionate about serving others and creating that ripple effect that, everything rises and falls on leadership. So I want to impact as many leaders and get that reciprocated back so we're stronger together and we can make a bigger impact. And at the Locker Room, we do specialize in working with broker owners like Reed, who, may want help in the areas of growth, meaning recruiting, retention, productivity, profitability, systems. And that's really become our MO. and all of the agents of that brokerage, of that team, are also the prime beneficiaries of that relationship because of all the different bonuses and perks and value stack that comes with the work that we do. So without further ado, I'm ready to dive in if you are, Reed.
Let's go. I'm
Think
excited.
you can handle it?
Oh, absolutely. This is walking the park.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Well, this again, if you've watched some prior episodes here of the Broker Showdown, you might know that I ask all of our guests one consistent question. And I'm going to start with that question right now with you. So here it is. Let's pretend for a hot minute that I'm an agent in your market right now, maybe watching this live right now with us. And let's pretend I'm considering making a change in brokerages, looking at making a move. Tell me what your unique value proposition is as a broker owner, as a brokerage, and why somebody like me might consider joining you.
Okay. I love this question. One, and I know a lot of brokers get asked this question sometimes, and it's always similar, very, very similar answers, right? So to answer your question, what the unique value proposition about the Wilson Group is, you're looking at him and you're talking to him. I say that very humbly, no ego, but I am the value proposition. I mean, to the point, my name is literally in the business company, in the business name, right? But I truly eat, breathe, sleep this business, and here to support and be that cheerleader for our agents. And when I say that, without ego, it's not about the CRMs for me. It's not about the splits, the leads. Any agent can walk across any street into any office in any town and get the exact same thing, or they can go get it on their own, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, that value proposition is truly me, the accessibility to me, the support. Every agent has different goals, whether you want to sell 8 homes or you want to hit 8 million in volume each year. What I love about what we're doing here is the value proposition is creating that environment to help support each of person's goals. I've got agents here that they need me every single day to have them. I've got agents that I may talk to once a month. That's fine. But they know that I'm here to pick up that phone when they need me or help them out.
So Reed, well, first of all, well said. And anybody watching this, you think that this man is not clear on who he is, the value he brings, and support that he brings and offers his agents, you're crazy, because that was like clear, crisp, with conviction. Okay. A follow-up question to that, though, and I don't know the answer to this. Mm-hmm. Has that always been the case? It has it always been, listen, I want to position myself as really one of the more distinct value propositions of being part of the Wilson Group? Or did you used to put it on things like CRMs, comp plans, all the typical stuff? Like, has that been a journey? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I'll say to that is, I made the comment a few minutes ago, like January, we've been open 13 years, right? So I failed 1,000 times. And to your question there is, when I would meet with agents looking in the beginning, this was years ago, right? For several years, when I would meet with someone looking to, join us, I would take what they were looking for. And if I didn't have it, you know what? I can go get it. And I would go invest and then waste my money, right? Mm-hmm. Then the next person I would talk to, oh, they want that. Okay, great. Let's offer that. And I just kept feeling like I was on a roller coaster of services, but yet getting nowhere. And I think it was about 4 years ago, I was on a call with you, as a matter of fact, and you were talking to brokers and leaders, and you made the comment to us, and you said, brokers, you are not here to compete. You're here to dominate. And that sentence and that moment, a light bulb went off. And I was like, you know what? I am going to stop chasing what everybody else wants. Mm-hmm. I'm going to build what feels natural, what feels real to me. And if we're a fit, fantastic. If not, I'm still going to cheer you on down the road, right? So it hasn't always been that way, as far as it was about the CRMs and the splits and going just bananas trying to get the right recipe, until you made that comment. And about 4 years ago, I feel like I got it right.
Wow. Well, I don't. Sometimes I don't remember half the crap I say. So thank you for bringing that to light. And certainly I take no credit. I mean, you're just an incredible leader. You and I've been running together for what, 4 or 5 plus years now. Yeah. And so I think you knew all along. Maybe you just heard it a little differently and gave yourself the credit you deserved, and because of the leader that you are, maybe just didn't ever quite say it that directly, frankly. And I love that, because, and I promise I'll toss it to you in a minute, but you know this, Reed, it was about a year plus ago by now, I went on a very, very specific mission, in a 90-day period of time. And I literally had interviewed or spoke to kind of survey style 100 broker owners. And I went on a mission to do some fact finding, some polls, some surveying. And one of the questions is the very question I just asked you. And I just wanted to see what was the polls? What are the responses? Well, you probably can guess the strong majority of the answers I got when I asked the value prop question was the opposite. It was the CRMs. It's the fact that we're a blankety blank commission or transaction fee model. It was all the superficial stuff. And I'm sitting there like, there's nothing unique about that. That's not a unique value proposition. Now, those might be considerations as to what you want to offer or why an agent would join you or not. But I could go start a brokerage tomorrow and get the same comp plan, same CRM, same everything that you're claiming is unique, and it's not.
Right.
So that's what we've made a part of our mission. And I know you coach to this as well, of really digging deeper behind the stuff. No, really, what do you do uniquely well? And what problem does that solve for another person? And then you're able to craft that as a kind of a wall of value, a pillar of value that you truly do stand out above the rest and do uniquely. So
yeah, absolutely. Because like you said, they can go across town and get that. They just can't get me anywhere else. So
that's right. There's only one Reed Wilson. And by the way, those of you familiar, what's the shirt Don made?
Be like Reed.
Be like Reed. Right. So there's a whole, you didn't know, you're sitting in the presence of royalty here. There's a hashtag Be Like Reed thing. Right. People made shirts.
I should have worn that today. I messed up. I should have worn that today.
Oh, it's hysterical and I love it. And it's really cool. So anyways, all right, man, over to you.
All right. So here's question number 1 for you. You speak with many different brokers, business owners, leaders, and in your experience, what's the biggest leadership myth you see business owners fall victim to, and how does Jake challenge that?
Holy smokes, you coming out swinging, Reed. I might need, could you ask that again? I'm processing your question.
So you speak with a lot of leaders and business owners. In your experience, what's the biggest leadership myth that you see business owners fall victim to, and how does Jake challenge that?
Wow. Okay. Maybe I should have had you send the questions. Okay. We'll see where this goes. I don't know if it's a myth. Okay. That may be the word I'm getting tripped up on. But because it does exist, just not as abundant or not as easily as I think is often sold to them. So with that, I'm going to answer this and see if it lands or not. I think a myth, or at least a myth understanding, how about that, is this whole concept that some of you know as 7th level. So translation, I see a lot of leaders who early on in their business journey have this end game in mind, this exit plan, this succession plan in mind. And they think if they just get the right people in the right place and blah, 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 bing, bang, boom, in 2 or 3 years, I can be out and I'm sipping on a cocktail on a beach receiving mailbox money. I have yet to see that truly happen, all but maybe a couple exceptions. And even those are question marks. A lot of people can get to like a level 5, level 6 business where you're still overseeing it, but less in the day-to-day operations. I think that's a healthy place to be. I'm not anti-leverage. I'm not anti-exit plan, not at all. But I think what's sold to them and what happens is they get the people or the systems in the place as quickly as they can, and they exit stage left, just wiping their hands clean, thinking it's gravy train from here on out. And I see them exiting far too early, and the house of cards comes crumbling down. They don't realize that they are, like you said, Reed, so much of that sticky factor, that value proposition. So much of the business, like it or not, still depends on their presence and involvement in it. And I just think that's one of the interesting things in the circles that I have run in, that was always preached. Get to 7th level, get to 7th level. Someday you can just be hands off from the business. And I get it. There are some who get there, but the path is really challenging, takes a lot more work. a lot harder, a lot longer, even perhaps than I think a lot of people initially thought, because they were just sold on a model without understanding, the grind and stuff, and let alone their impact along the way, that the business still very much needs them.
Yeah.
Does this make sense? I
No,
hope.
absolutely. Yeah. Well, even as you're saying that, because I know I have a 3-year vision and a 5-year plan, and it does include me removing my fingerprints from more day-to-day stuff, but never from the business. Like, I don't want to be
Right.
MIA, right? I don't need to be doing the day-to-day minutia stuff. So
That's the distinction. So,
yeah,
and I'm being a little cryptic and referencing some level that's language from a certain book, from a certain thing, but um, what you just described is basically like a level 6 business. You're a level 6 business owner, right? Where I am all about you not being in the day to day and putting the right talent, probably that's better than you at the thing, anyways. Let them run it, let them operate it, let them pull the levers. But for you as the business owner to ever think that you're just going to altogether be able to disappear and
right,
not still inspect what you expect or have those high level C-level executive meetings, I'm just not quite sold on that yet. Not in the real estate world. This is a
right,
very different business with a lot of moving parts, a lot of different changes that go on compared to you owning a car wash or something like
right.
that, which, yeah, you can exit stage left and that thing will still be fine.
Correct.
This
Yeah.
is too much of a belly to belly people relational
Mhm.
business that you often were the one responsible for bringing them in, or you were the one and reason that they joined in the first place. And then you think you're just going to all of a sudden
Right.
disappear.
Yeah.
That just doesn't math for me. And I've rarely seen it actually work.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Great question. Woo. I hope they get easier from here. Okay.
Let's see.
All right. My next question for you then is
Okay.
question number 2. Looking back at the origin of the Wilson Group, so think back then, what would you say is the most impactful thing that you've learned about building a business? And what advice would you give to somebody else if you could, not somebody else, what advice would you give yourself if
Okay.
you could go back in time?
Okay. So going back 13 years, that's a lot of experience right there. Um, if I could go back to 13 years ago, January of 2013, and have a complete blank canvas, um, what comes to mind are kind of two things, but they kind of connect each other. One, I failed 1,000 times at systems and resources. I was doing band-aids and not fixing solutions, right? I would go back and give myself advice. Does this solution now solve the problem 5 years from now? Am I creating a project just for the sake of creating a project, or am I really solving an issue? Examples. When I was growing and started this, I would have a system in place. When we got a first agent, this system was no longer, it was not even scalable. So then I'd have to quickly make a change, right? And then that went on for years versus taking the time, sitting down and thinking, is this resource rather, this tool, this system, is it going to solve the problem 5 years from now? I would have saved a lot of time, headache, money, frustration on my behalf, on agents' behalves. I didn't put systems in place that were scalable. So I think that would be number one. The number two part of that would be is really creating a vision, looking 1, 3, 5 years down the road. I've said that a couple of times now. Looking 1, 3, and 5 years down the road. What does my business look like? What do I want it to look like? What would I want my personal life to look like? And then reverse engineer that. And then from there, I could identify the gaps that were missing for the first several years. Where was I spending all my time, all the hats I was wearing? So I think that would be the advice if I could go back to January 2013 read.
I love that, man. It's so valuable. I hope everybody's tuning in to what he's saying. And I fall victim to this too. As much as of a futuristic visionary as I think I am, it's so easy to get sucked into the vortex where we just put our head down, put the blinders on, and we're just focused on the here, the now, or maybe at best the next 90 days,
Right.
or the next month.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I had the shiny bright lights and, oh, that's going to solve the problem. Oh, by the way, after several $1,000s and 6 months invested, it doesn't do anything. Right. Then you have to start over. So it was just truly tunnel vision and not looking down the road.
So I wrote a couple things down I want to share. And actually, this is fresh off. I was at a conference speaking yesterday, and the evening before, we were out to dinner with the president of this company and other leaders. And I was having a conversation with the president. And he says how he works in 100-year visions.
Wow.
And I was like, hang on, I can't unpack the entire conversation, but the point is, as great as a 1 year, a 3 year, a 5 year is, he's like, Jake, I'm building, because this particular company has been in business now for 60 years. He's like, I know my time here as the president of this company is a blip on the radar in the grand scheme of things. So how can I take what the prior 60 years was, where we are now, and set the next person up in the succession plan as I hand over the baton to them for the next 100 years? And wow, did that blow my mind. And we were able to have some pretty high level discussions diving even further into that. But that's what made me think of that, Reed. Yeah, 1, 3, and 5, but then what? And then what? And who? You can just go crazy with this. So I wrote that down. The other thing, when you said band-aids, really spoke to me. I think a lot of business owners do that. They're just dealing with the problems that fall into their lap. And you and I know the book Upstream.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Right? Can you speak to that? Just what's the principle of Upstream and what that is compared to just fixing things with a Band-Aid?
Yeah, great book. Quick synopsis. I just read it earlier this year, and it's about getting ahead of the problems. And an example from the book, one of the doctors was trying to get ahead of child obesity or healthcare, and they had to go back, to realize it was something like teaching, the teachers, the doctors at med school, how to get ahead of this, years ahead of the problem. And it just really spoke to me about getting ahead of the problems before they exist. How far back can you go to get upstream for this? And it just was an eye opener to kind of make sure that I'm in alignment with where I want to be with that. Mm-hmm. And every time I fix a solution or need a new source, I'm like, okay, will this be applicable in 10 years? Or is this just a project for now? Is this a Band-Aid or is this a solution?
Well said. Yeah. Great book, by the way. If anybody's looking for a good read, you just said it in essence, but there's so much more to it. I can deal with the problem, or I can pause for a hot minute and see how far upstream I can swim and cut the head off the snake. So I fix it at the root, and everything that follows is no longer an issue.
Yeah.
So really, really insightful stuff there, man. Thank you for that. Okay. I think over to you then.
Well, how ironic or coincident that one of my next questions ties into what you just said. So as a leader, you're a CEO, author, natural born leader. Do you believe leaders have an obligation to develop the next generation, or is leadership primarily about results now?
Oh, okay. That one actually is easier for me than your first question. And yet still a very good answer, or question rather. So start on the results side first. First of all, leadership. Yeah, you are in charge of results, generating results. Otherwise, what are you truly leading? Are you just creating a cheerleading program, or what are the results that you can speak to that your leadership has helped produce? So I don't want to overshadow the importance of results and judging a leader based on what they've actually done and achieved, not just what they talk about or how motivating they are. Okay. Now, the other side. Anybody who's a student of leadership would absolutely be familiar with John Maxwell's 5 levels of leadership. And level 1 leadership, for example, is simply positional. It's titles. So many of us who came from maybe a former job in corporate America or something like that, there's a lot of level 1 leadership going on out there where you're my boss because you have a title and therefore you get to tell me what to do or else. That is the lowest form of leadership, right? And as you go up that leadership ladder, as John Maxwell speaks of, it's really around level 4, level 5, which is what your question is speaking to. So my answer is, I feel a great sense of conviction where I'm compelled to not just create results and give handouts and help celebrate and see people win. That's fun, and there is a place for that, but it's to raise up other leaders. Even if, check this out, even if that means that they feel they're ready to fly on their own, spread their wings and fly. Reed, even since we've been running together, we have had coaches here at Locker Room who are no longer coaches here at the locker room, but they're over there thriving and doing other things and pursuing whatever it is they feel called to do next. I don't carry a resentment around for that. I still stay in touch with like all of them, and I'm so happy for them, right? I don't have to have my hand in every cookie jar. So not to say I take credit for it, but if I played a little piece of their story, maybe I said something, taught them something, or just spending time together, raised their leadership lid to now they're able to do, bigger, better, whatever things, then hey, great. I did my part. I served that season of life that I was meant to serve. So I think ultimately our job is to raise up other leaders, develop other great leaders, not just followers who are sticking around with their hand out because you're fun to be around or you help make it rain for them or whatever. I don't want just that. I want to be able to look back and say, wow, that person wrote a book. That person started their own company. That person is now leading this company doing whatever they feel called to do. So that's going to be my answer, I think, unless I missed the mark on that, or if you have any follow-ups.
No, I think it's it's not really an or, it's what we always say, it's a yes and,
Yeah.
and I agree. I've had people leave me, and cool.
Yeah.
I wish if I'm no longer the match or the season, like I'm not on friend request, I'm not canceling your friend request, I'm still cheering you on, whatever, right? Congrats. I do believe people come and go as seasons, but I think we have an obligation to demand the results. I'm not running a charity. This is a business at the end of the day, but also raising that next generation up. In my 3-year, 5-year plan I just mentioned, there's people in my mind that's in my organization right now that are in mine, should they want it, that's going to help me get there. So,
yeah. No, you're spot on. I'm doing the same. I don't want to use the word grooming. That's a weird word these days, but pouring into people that I see their next move, their next level of leadership, and that puts pressure on me as a leader, is to make sure my vision in my world and or my skill set as a leader is still appropriate enough to keep that level of talent or develop that level of talent so they don't have a reason to ever want to leave me. That's the game I play here. Am I creating a vision, a world? Am I being who I'm supposed to be to keep Reed Wilson in my world? And if not, that's on me, right?
Right.
But I'm doing the same thing. I'm tapping a couple of people on the shoulder because I think they're ready. I think they have the skill set and they're far better at me or than me at certain things. So it's time for me in certain areas to get the heck out of the way and turn it over to somebody who's better and ready for it. So then I can go create more opportunities for others and do other things and perform at my highest and best use. So I think it's just this constant result. Got to get them, got to drive them. And to your question, not or, raising up the next generation of leaders and always creating pathways of opportunity for them so that they can never outgrow you, hypothetically.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. I think we're on number 3 for you. Yes. All right. My next question for you, Reed, is what is an example of one of your favorite success stories as a broker owner? So this might be a proud moment, an underdog story relative to you, maybe somebody else in your organization that they had to overcome at all odds. But just in essence, what's an example of one of your favorite success stories as a broker, because you're such a champion and cheerleader of others?
Well, 13 years is a lot of proud. Very quickly, I am super proud of our office and our team. And I know every broker says that, but I am like our team, they are in alignment with our core values, right? They are protective of our culture. Non-negotiable. I don't care if you sell 60 homes a year. If you're not a team player, like you're not coming to my door, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we really do work as a team, and that just always is proud. It makes me proud. The first words in that question, if I heard right, the broker owner. I think what comes to mind on that one is going back 5 years ago, I raised my hand, right? And I'd failed for many years. And I was raised, I come from a very prideful father. And he taught my brother and I, you're going to work, you figure it out. Asking for help is the absolute last resort, right? And 5 years ago, I hit a wall and I was like, Reed needs help, right? And I know what that 5-year mark, what I did with that raising my hand is I found the locker room. And I think raising that hand is a proud moment for me because it changed the trajectory of my business. It changed me as a leader. It changed my life. Literally, it created me to get out of production. Now I can work on own the business, not in the day-to-day weeds. My work-life balance is much healthier and I protect that at all costs. So I think the proudest moment, in addition to my office and the team, is I was brave enough to raise my hand. And I'm super proud of that. And even talking about that and even answering that question, it just humbles you, like what you've done in 5 years. And even though, sometimes it gets hard every single day, right? There's a lot to be proud of, and look what's happened. So
That's awesome, man. Congratulations, and so well deserved. And I'm intimately familiar with some of the references you're saying of what 5 years looked like compared to what it looks like today. And you should be proud of that. That should be, I don't know, again, thank you for incorporating locker room in those sentiments, but I think the overarching lesson there is putting ego aside and saying, I have enough emotional intelligence and awareness that says I'm stuck or I'm not where I want to be. And I'm going to now actively seek help, because what's the option? I can continue to trip and fall and try to figure this out on my own, or I can enlist the support and help of somebody else along the way and maybe get to my goals quicker, faster, with the least amount of hassle.
Yeah. The partner, like just having someone like get the stuff out of my head and just really, but I think that was it, and it just, I'm not a quitter by any stretch, but I was at my wit's end, and to raise my hand at that moment was just, that was it.
And that's just 5 years ago. So
July or August of 2020. Yeah.
Yeah. Putting you on the spot a little bit. So looking back in hindsight, that being just 5 years ago, certain periods seems like an eternity. Others just seem like it was yesterday. I get it. What's a big, hairy, audacious goal maybe that you have for the next 5 years? And do you see any other moments where you have to do the same thing? Say, time for me to raise my hand again.
Yeah. I mean, possibly to that second part, possibly not at the moment, not like it was 5 years ago. Not as big of goals just per se. And maybe I need to go back and look at what that is. My 3-year vision is kind of tied into the business a little bit from moving myself, like I said earlier. Not as big as audacious as some of the things that's happened, in the last 5 years. And, I mean, here I'll share, too, like 3 years ago, my partner and I had a 5-year plan to have a place in Florida. And that didn't work out. But what we do have, and we've had keys now for 2 years, is a condo in Mexico, right? That was a huge goal of ours 3 years ago. That was on our 5-year plan. And now we've had it for 2 years, right? So I think that alone, like, we're very blessed with that. And I don't have a big audacious one yet.
That's okay.
I got time. Yes.
Well, I think you do. Actually, the big, hairy, audacious goal is getting yourself having the business less and less dependent on Reed.
Yeah. Well, that, exactly. Yeah.
You're never, you love what you do. You love the people. And like we spoke about earlier, I don't foresee you ever just like saying peace out. Now it's have fun, kids. No, but to have the options to do that, which creates opportunity for other people to level up, operate a business day to day. That's pretty, that in and of itself is a big, hairy, audacious goal, to be honest with you.
I want to do this from my condo in Mexico, sit on the beach.
There you go. And just to remind everybody, and I'll shut up here, is those 2 quotes that we often say here, Reed, number 1, wherever you find yourself today, listening, watching us right now, you are no more than 5 years away from being wherever you desire to be. Reed just gave you proof of that. Okay. Now, it's not going to happen through osmosis. It's not going to happen through just manifestation. You got to work your tail off. Okay. And there's a lot of case studies to show, wow, look at where I am today compared to 5 years ago, and appreciate that journey. The second quote is, we often overestimate what we can do in 1 year and underestimate what we can do in 5. And Reed is living proof that with focus, time on task, momentum is the great accelerator here. It's little yeses, little victories along the way, that compound effect, that one day you wake up when you thought something was 5 years and it happens in 2 or 3, You're like, how did that happen?
We
You
still
can
don't believe some of the stuff that's happened, like it does it. We're like, really? We have a place there, like that's done, and whatever, and
Yeah.
it's there, and we're renting it out, which now creates passive income for us. I mean, it's now, yes, it's ours, but we can make some money off of it. And kind of, if I can, for 2 seconds, one of the questions earlier, when I said I would go back in time and give myself advice to do that org chart, when I pulled that out, like I came across that old org chart like 6 months ago.
Mhm.
And you sit back and look at that, like this was my vision for August of 2021. I'm like, holy crap, like all of that hit at like month number 9 and month number 10. Like, holy shit, excuse me, right? But it was just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, it was amazing. So
Yeah. Well, it is amazing, and it's amazing what that level of planning, thought, and clarity can do. Without clarity, that's where we say things like, "Oh, it'll probably take me 5 years." Well, that's because you said it when you were in a fog. But when you had clarity and you coupled that clarity with clear action, you pulled that into the present a year, 2 years in, and voila, now it's all raining down. So really, really cool. Yeah. All right. I think you got one more for me, yeah?
final question. This will be an
One?
easy
Okay.
one. What's a belief that you held firmly early in your career that you've now completely abandoned, and what changed your mind?
Belief that I held early in my career. I have two of them. I'm going to write them down so I don't forget. I have two of them. First one is just more leadership or performance driven, because a lot of us assign meaning, labels, in other words, to words. One of those words for me was accountability. For years, the old version of Jake, for years, I sprinted away from accountability. You know why? Because my association, my label to that word was micromanagement. Accountability equals micromanagement. And those that know me, I am what you would probably call unemployable. I highly value my autonomy. And so for years, Reed, I would just shy away from accountability, or like, oh no, that's not me, because I know it all. I don't need accountability. I'm self-motivated. And I finally realized the people that I admired and wanted to be more like actually sprinted towards accountability. I'm like, okay, ego, we need to talk because something's going on here. So it's like I was finally receptive and explored the why behind that. I'm like, oh, I need to reassociate my meaning to that word, because actually accountability is somebody else holding me able. They're holding up the mirror saying, Jake, you said you wanted this. Here's why you said you wanted it. Did that change? Accountability is not punishment. It's not going into the Walmart parking lot singing I'm a little teapot while Reed Wilson Facebook Lives it and shames me to death. Accountability doesn't have to be where I'm stroking a check to my, political party or something that I whatever. Like, it doesn't have to be a pain. It's just somebody or yourself reminding you what you said. It's an integrity thing. It has nothing to do with micromanagement. So that's one. Number two, quickly, is actually in the realm of coaching. I thought, Reed, early on, I had probably one of the most intense cases of what others refer to as imposter syndrome. Some of my backstory. I've sold one home in real estate. It's my self-deprecating humor. Okay. It's like, not because I sucked, but because I sold one fast. And then I get a call from an owner of a real estate company saying she wants to interview me to be their CEO. So I went down a leadership route. But still, the fact remains, I sit before you running a national coaching company, attracting amazing leaders and talent like Reed, having sold one home. And for a while early on, I just kept this imposter thing in my mind, like, oh, every Facebook group, everything I hear is people who say, well, if you can't do it, you end up teaching it. Or if you haven't done it yourself, how could you? You'd be a fraud to try and help others do something that you've never done. And you know what I realized? I carried that belief around long enough until I got in the right rooms with the right people in the right training of what coaching, consulting actually is. In many ways, it's the art of asking great questions, helping hold other people accountable to their, and which I I think I'm pretty good at.
Mhm.
And so I've now coached people that, from a production standpoint, have done far more than just one sale. And yet, how? Well, it's because I understand what training is, what coaching is, what mentorship is, what consulting is, and I also know the differences between the two. So to the outsider, they may say, well, it's just semantics. No, it's not. I'm very clear on what coaching is, and I have chosen to work towards mastery at that thing, which I now feel more than obligated, more than equipped to help coach and lead other people, even if I don't have certain production metrics behind my name like they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one. So accountability, what does it mean to you? If you guys are watching this or watching the replay, let us know what accountability means to you. And any other words like lead gen or prospecting that maybe you need to consider. What is the meaning? What is the label? What is the definition you assign it? And is that really true?
Yeah.
Or is that just something you adopted along the way and haven't interrogated ever since?
Yeah.
So.
Well, even when you're saying that, like accountability, when I started and had that partner, when I raised my hand 5 years ago, it was just that constant weekly meeting, just for showing up. Like I had to check myself in, right? Give me a goal, I'll work. But it was also like, oh, if I don't do it, right? So it's not a bad thing, you know.
Right. No, it's a great thing.
Yeah.
When deployed correctly. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So Reed, I got one. I have a bonus question I'm going to ask you real quick.
Okay.
But before I get to that, if I'm somebody, maybe I am an agent in your market, maybe I'm another broker, and you said something I would love to connect with you offline about. What's the best way for somebody maybe to connect with you? Where should they go? Where should they call, email, whatever?
Call, direct text me. It's 804-514-5077. You can also check out our careers website at thewilsongroupcareers.com. Either one of those will get right to me.
Perfect. And obviously we're doing this on social media, all the channels. So I'm sure they can find you on Facebook, Instagram, wherever.
Smoke signals. Yep. Yeah, I'll find you. So, yeah.
Smoke signals. Yeah. And Reed posts a lot of great content. Like I said earlier, very motivating, very uplifting. So if for nothing else, and you just want to follow great leaders who are able to do, disrupt patterns in the world that, there's a lot going on out there. And it's just nice every once in a while to have your news feed interrupted with something like Reed Wilson having pom-poms in his hands and giving a great quote or an inspiring message. Trust me, I consume it all. So,
yeah.
Okay. I did say I had one more question I was going to leave you with. I'm cheating. I get 4. So what? It's my show.
Yeah.
Okay. So my last question is, what is one piece of advice that maybe somebody has given you that you would want to pass along to our audience today?
Man, there's been a lot in my young 46 years. Okay. So one, I forgot how long ago it was or where I was at of the setting, but someone told me, MYM, make yourself memorable. If you had 30 seconds with someone and you left them, do they remember you? Do they remember how you made them feel? Do they forget about you, or is it indifferent? We have a chance to make an impact on people's lives. So make yourself memorable. I feel like I live that on a daily basis in my work, in my leadership, in my personal life. What you see online or social is what you get in real life. I don't change. I'm very real. So I think that was the first thing that popped in my head is MYM, make yourself memorable.
I love that. Just to dive deeper on that, what do you do? Like what's a tactic, something that you do then, Reed, to implement that? What's that look like in your world right now?
Yeah. I mean, I've always said the thing. I've never met a stranger. I'll talk to anyone. I mean, I love to have a good time. You've got a sense of humor. We're going to be great friends. But just really being there, being in that relationship. I'm not a transactional person. So I'm all about, I need to know more than your name. You have a dog, we're going to for sure be best friends. But it's just truly about that relationship building on that. And just being myself. I'm not fake by any stretch of the imagination. So I think people pick up on the BS meters. So I think when people meet other people and they see someone that's real, I think sometimes that makes a difference. It breaks the cycle, if you will.
That's true. I love that you took it that direction, actually, because somebody, by the way, no judgment, no right or wrong to this. And yet a lot of people, myself included, might have said, oh, well, of course I'm I'm on all these social media platforms and I got the algorithms and artificial intelligence. You didn't share any of that to be memorable. What you said was, it's the belly to belly. I'm a relationship person. I'm authentic. I'm caring. He's funny, likes to have a good time, loves dogs. That's as human can get, man. And what I heard basically you say is, there's no neutral interaction. Now, so we're going to meet, we're going to interact, and you're going to walk away, either you're going to love me
Right.
or you're probably going to hate me.
Right.
But there's no vanilla, there's no bland, there's no like, it's either a hell yeah or a hell no. And through that, knowing who you are, you attract and find your people along the way. I think you would agree.
Yeah. I'm not for everyone, and I know that, and I'm okay with that. Whether
Right.
it's a coaching partner, it's an agent wanting to join this company, but yeah, most everyone loves Reed. So
Yeah, and it's true. I can't
I
vouch
got
for
T-shirts
that.
made about it. But and it's also too, like, have fun. Like, I'm not doing rocket science here. I'm not sending people to Mars or open heart surgery, right? You know, more respect to those people above my pay grade. I mean, I'm here to we're just selling houses. We're in the people business that happens to sell homes, right? So
Yeah, great perspective, man. Reed, this has been awesome. I've been looking forward to this, wanting you to get you on the Showdown for a while now. So I'm glad we were able to pin you down on a date. It is 9/11. I know it's a somber date for a lot of folks, but man, you are a breath of fresh air. You're a beacon of optimism. And anybody that comes in contact, I have not met a single person that doesn't like Reed. So I appreciate you for who you are, my friend.
I
And
appreciate you. Yeah.
just so glad we're in each other's circles here. So
Yeah.
thank you for
What
your
a
time
blast.
today. Thanks for being on the Showdown. Any last parting words?
Go have fun. Make yourself memorable.
There it is. Go have fun. MYM. Make yourself memorable. You heard it right here from Reed. Until next time, Reed, we'll have you back on the Broker Showdown again in the future. But for now, that's it. Over and out. Thanks, everybody. Have a great
Have a good
rest of
day.
your day. We'll see y'all.